Welcome to the Art of Art Journaling. If you're looking to spruce up your sketchbook, you've come to the right place. I'm going to show some of my art journal pages and tell you about how I find my inspiration. Later in this video, I'm going to help you create an art journal page. First, what is an art journal? Well, some may call it a sketchbook or an art diary, but to me it's a little bit more than a sketchbook. It could serve as a private diary, but personally I enjoy sharing my art journal with anybody who wants to see what I'm creating. So essentially, it's a visual record of an artist's thoughts and ideas. An art journal can feature a variety of techniques, materials, images, found objects, and it doesn't end there. Many artists like to write in their journals. What's awesome about an art journal is that each page is a work of art that tells a different story. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody but the artist. For many art journalists, this form of art can help to capture a moment so that you'll remember the little details. But it also helps us to develop our craft and test new and old techniques and materials. Your journal is also a good spot to plan for a larger project. Let's talk about inspiration. What inspires the ideas on each page? An art journal page can be inspired by anything. Inspiration can come from your thoughts, your travels, food, people, yourself, animals, patterns, nature, art forms, seasons, and it doesn't end there. You can also find inspiration from and use photographs or magazine images. What do you need to make an art journal page? So you're going to need some type of journal. It could be any kind, any size, maybe you made the book yourself. I prefer to use a sketchbook or a journal with blank pages and no lines. But you might like to have lines in your journal, especially if you plan to incorporate a lot of writing. You probably want to have a glue stick and a variety of materials, including fun, colorful pens. The possibilities are really endless. So I'm going to quick show some of my art journal pages and explain a little bit about where I found the inspiration for each. Seeing other artists' work does help to find inspiration for our own work, so here we go. So this page, I kind of started with an organic shape and just ran with it. Here, I made this page toward the beginning of autumn. I laminated a few leaves, used some printmaking techniques to outline the shape of the leaves that I found on my front lawn, and the writing explains some of the things I was looking forward to about the fall. This page here was just me experimenting with some shaving cream and food coloring, and this is a form of printmaking. There's really cool results that I just had to document. This page is a little bit of a hodgepodge between a trip to Chinatown where I picked up a few tasty treats, also the tea I drank earlier at home that day, and a plan for a stamp that I was creating, which I then used on the right side of the page after I made it. And here are also some petals from roses that I found in my trash can. So this page is all about my trip to the Philadelphia Art Museum. I cut some images from the museum map and snapped some Polaroids of the Schuylkill River. I went back to visit my college and stopped by some of my favorite restaurants in town. It was a rainy day, and the fruit represents a shirt that I was wearing that day. I drink a lot of tea, so I made a weaving from some cut-up tea bag sleeves, and I added a to-do list. Here's a Roy Lichtenstein-esque sunset to represent an art lesson that I taught earlier about Saturday morning. Stamps, success, and small thoughts. Here's a jumbled self-portrait for a confusing day. Here's an Inktober topic. The word was found, so I created a treasure map by crinkling up some paper to make it look old, and then I glued that right on into my book. And here is one of my absolute favorites. This page was inspired by the solar eclipse in August of 2017, and the spin art came from Art Time at Camp. Okay, so we already saw the materials you might need and how I've used them in my art journal. Now I'm going to show you how you can create an art journal page and provide you with an idea to start. So in school, I'm teaching a lesson on discovering your inner bird. My journal page is going to be all about birds. I'm going to use images from magazines, information I already know, and maybe some new research. This is a plan for a larger project, but only you will know that. To everyone else, it might look like a work of art. I'm starting with some images I tore from a magazine. Magazines are great because there's a variety of images, especially in wildlife magazines, and this saves you from having to go print photos. I have my scissors to make some more precise cuts, but leaving a torn edge definitely adds some character. Then I like to figure out where I want to glue my images down. Most of the time I just go for it rather than spending a lot of time on planning a page because it's more fun that way. So here's what we have so far. So now I'm going back in with some markers and making a list. This is a way to incorporate writing. My list is about all things involving birds. I'm also adding in some doodles. I like to use pens, markers, and sometimes I'll even use some watercolor. Here I'm adding a bit of acrylic paint. This is nice because it's thick and will stand out against the images that I added. You can make these pages as fun, simple, or complex as you want them to be because it's all about visually fleshing out your thought process. Here are a few close-up shots. The little details are my favorite. And here's the final product. So I've used inspiration from several different outlets to create even more inspiration for a project that I'll be starting. Thanks for watching, and happy art journaling!